I'm Liz Mathias, and my parents would say they love the name Elizabeth, but I've always been known as Liz. Lots of different forms of Liz, but I'm Liz. What I bring to Brist is a breadth of knowledge, a breadth of experience. I came to Brist actually 2 weeks prior to COVID. Came in a capacity working in the HR space. I had recently gone back to school to get my certification in HR after working with a lot of entrepreneurs and startup companies, and found that that was a hole. That was a space where I needed some additional learnings in legalities and just to kind of get an understanding more of compliance in that space because it's super important. So I came into Brist, and 2 weeks into my stay at Brist, COVID hit and everything shut down. And we had 48 employees we had to take care of. So I began that journey, got us to a place where we communicated to all the employees the importance of some of the decisions that we had to make as a company. It was not easy. It was probably one of the most difficult and challenging times that I can remember in my career. These were not easy decisions and not easy pieces of communication. It was just incredibly challenging. So with that being said, several months later, I had an opportunity to step into some operational challenges. It's kind of my background in sales and ops. And we began a kind of a new way forward with Brist and its operations. We looked at what we could do to use that time extremely wisely during COVID when things were pretty tight. We had a small workforce, we had limited resources, and sales were slow, really slow. So how could we maximize that time? How could we benefit Brist? And it is one of the spaces I thrive in. So I was super excited about the opportunity to be able to jump in and put me in, coach. Where do you need me, Brendan? It was just a great journey. It was a really great journey to get us to a place where we had some momentum going into the fall when we knew that we're going to put our best foot forward and try to reemerge stronger. It was a great time. It was a real important time for the company, for all of the people that worked at Brist. We brought almost everybody back. And I think that was a moment of real pride when we could begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So with a great team behind me and working alongside of me, I call them my colleagues because I don't believe titles. I don't believe in titles. I believe in experience. I believe in learning, being a student, constantly allowing one door to open and be curious, go in there, see what you can learn, find your path. Absolutely find your path. And that's what we've been doing. We've been trying to find our path. Here we are at 2021, and it's pretty dang cool. We are hitting goals like crazy across the company. Everybody at Brist now shares some real focal points to goals, to values. I am really excited about where we are at the midpoint of the year. And I think that we are going to be surprising ourselves when we think about what we're so capable of doing and finishing out the year very strong.
What an incredible, I mean, everyone has their own COVID story, but to have come out of an HR certification to work within a new startup, which already poses its own challenges, and then 2 weeks from that time, the world shuts down. I mean, what a start. I know you're a musician, so I'm curious if right now at the top of your head, you have either a favorite song or a favorite artist that is really resonating with you in this moment in life that you're at.
Oh my gosh, there is. He's on the wall. Actually, it's like my prized possession. So I don't think you can see it, but maybe I can take it down. Hold on. This is like so stinking cool. This was like my dream. This is George Benson. I don't know if you can see that, but this is the George Benson, the guitar phenom.
Yeah.
And I've loved to watch this man just re-emerge and recreate himself over and over and over and over again. Such a talent, musically, vocally, guitar. I mean, he's just a master. So I had a chance to meet him, and I was bound and determined to meet George Benson. I went to so many of his concerts. We love wine. My husband and I just love wine. So we tend to go in the summertime where the wine is and where the concerts are. And we love George Benson. He's energizing. He inspires me to do better. I do play the guitar. I play the ukulele, but I'm just kind of a fun player. I don't take myself too seriously. I was bound and determined to meet him, and I called his manager every concert I would go to. I would send an email, I'd call his manager, I'd try to get on the horn to say, I just want to have a meet and greet. Can I please have a meet and greet? One of those concerts, I received a reply after countless times of trying. I finally received a reply and said, if you meet us here at this time after this concert, I will try to get you a meet and greet with Mr. Benson. No promises. Well, I thought, well, this is not, I mean, yes, I've got this opportunity, but I didn't know that it would actually happen. And it did. It really happened. It was very strange. It was really very strange because I was in this huge room and there were so many people that had come in from LA, and you could tell that I was not a part of that crew. I was very much an outsider, but he spent a little bit of time with us, not a lot of time, but a little bit of time. And it was just an honor, absolute honor to meet him. But that is my story. That is kind of my fun thing that I like to do in the summertime. And it led to a real cool meeting with George Benson a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's a legend. That's super cool that you were able to meet him
Yep.
through diligence and perseverance. That's very on brand for Liz, I would say. Um,
It is.
Now, this is a little bit of a different category. Do you have a favorite film, whether it's a newer one or an older one, something that's in the film category that really resonates with you?
Mm. I like romantic films. I'm like a oldie but goodie kind of gal. I like films like Under the Tuscan Sun.
Oh, yeah.
I like The Notebook. I could watch The Notebook over and over and over again. I just love love stories. I
Totally.
love unique, kind of unique films that draw me in and yeah, just can, sit back and whether it's in the theater and haven't been in the theater for a long time, but at home, just kind of nestle up with a good pillow behind me and cuddle.
I totally agree about The Notebook. I think that's a movie that changed the trajectory of romantic storytelling in the modern age, because there was kind of this division on who could say that they liked romantic films. And then after The Notebook came out, it was like, oh, okay, like this is now a genre for everyone because this movie is just so good.
Yeah, I also love musicals. I grew up on musicals, so I love the stage, love musicals. It's just because I sing, I play. Thankfully, you don't hear me all the time at Brist, but I love musicals.
Another category switch. Favorite food.
Oh, favorite food, Italian. Absolutely
Okay.
Italian. I'm a nut about Italian. Love really, really good Italian. Fortunately, in my sales career, I had a chance to travel. I was on the road for about 75% of the time, and I landed some great Italian restaurants across the country. And then also great barbecue. Love, love, love barbecue. Really good barbecue, especially in the Southeast. Love it.
Let's move into. I know that we've gotten some great stories already, but what do you feel, or do you feel like you could share a story that is just like one of, I'm sure the many, but like quintessential stories of Liz, maybe as it relates to a passion in life or your current career or the trajectory that got you to where you are, something kind of in that regard.
Mm. Uh, Probably goes back to just growing up. I had an amazing father. I mean, great parents, but my father in particular was such a huge influence. He thought women, especially his daughter, could do anything. Uh, and at 3 years of age, I was actually behind a quarter midget. I was racing. I was racing a quarter midget. I was behind the wheel of a motorized vehicle on a quarter mile track. And my dad was an auto mechanic. My parents worked very, very hard. They both worked long days, long nights. My mom came over from England as a bookbinder, but couldn't find any work. And so she was a factory worker. I totally understand blue collar. I totally get hardworking people with their hands. That's how they do what they do. My dad was an auto mechanic and he loved cars. He loved cars, and his daughter loves cars too. But my dad built a race car. And so for the first, well, I said from 3 to about 11 years old, until I could not fit in that car any longer, I was part of the Quarter Midget Association in Minnesota. And every Sunday we would head out to the track and we would have races. And then it wasn't just good enough to race, you had to practice. So all weekend long, Friday and Saturday, I'd be practicing for Sunday. But what that did is it instilled pride. Practice makes better. It doesn't make perfect, but it makes better. And my dad just, he just did everything. He made it happen. And we traveled with the Quarter Midget, and it was my kind of entree into, I think I can do just about anything. Then after that, I twirled baton. I was a drum majorette. I sang in the choir. I just loved doing stuff. And everything I did, I hoped I became somewhat confident at it and confident in myself. So it's been a good journey, but my dad was a huge influence. And, he passed away 11 years ago, but there isn't a day that goes by that I don't remember that influence and how important it was in launching my career, getting into sales, having no fear, tackling anything, going out on the road when I had no business really seeing a customer because they had already said no. And I said, he didn't say no loud enough. I'm going to go see that customer. So I think it's like that tenacity, and I always feel his spirit continuing to ride along with me as each door opens and I try something new. I just love working at Brist. I love this company. I am in awe of what everybody does. I think it is an amazing place that Brendan and his partner early on had shaped kind of what it needed to be, and love the brand book. I think the brand book's going to go miles for this company. It will help to stabilize why we do what we do and who we do it for. So thank you for doing that. But man, what a great company. What a success story. And success in a really good way, not in a really haughty kind of, high level kind of way, but just working your butt off. Everybody's just working so hard to do the right thing and to help this company become a brand that people associate with, right? Where there's love of the brand. Hey, it's all about the process. Keep it moving. See you guys.